Greetings, everyone. Hope all of you are having an absolutely fantastic day. We're back again with more Elex 2, and this time I wanted to walk through some general beginner tips for all of you that are picking up the game, whether it's people who are already familiar with Elex or people who are brand new to the universe and want to be a little bit more prepared once they start the game. Hopefully, there will be something in this list that you will be able to benefit from. Let's go ahead and just dive right in. So first and foremost, you should pick up everything. There are no weight limits in Elex, and everything you pick up has a use, whether it's something you can sell or make potions out of, or make ammo, or improve your weapons, or make food. There's just a use for every single item. So there's really no good reason to leave an item behind. Pick up everything that you come across. In that same vein, talk to everyone. There are no markers on the map letting you know where new quests are available. So it is completely possible for you to walk right past someone who would give you an awesome quest line that would give you some new gear or provide you with a bunch of experience points or some additional money. So it's important that if you walk by a named character, you go ahead and talk to them and see if they have something to offer you, because more than likely, either they're going to give you a quest or they're going to have some involvement in a quest that you might decide to do later on down the line. Third on the list, for the first, I'd say probably 10 levels, you really shouldn't be doing that much combat. I mean, if it's your thing, if you're a glutton for punishment, then by all means, go ahead and dive right in. But for the first few hours of the game, it's really about trying to get yourself acclimated, getting better gear, getting some money, and trying to figure out which faction you want to join. Combat is not something that you should just be throwing yourself into. More than likely, you're going to get absolutely ripped apart, and it's going to bring down your enjoyment level of the game. So just go ahead and relax and settle into the idea that it takes a while to grow into the role of somebody who's really able to march out into the world and take on everything that the game tries to throw at you. This, of course, brings up the question, when should you go ahead and start diving into combat? And the answer is once you have joined a faction and are able to purchase the first level of faction gear. And I would definitely recommend that you join a faction ASAP. This is one of the few areas where I believe people who played Elex 1 probably are going to have a bit of an advantage over people who are diving into Elex for the first time. I did not play Elex 1, but I had no trouble whatsoever following the story, understanding, getting used to the different characters, or any of the usual things you would want to enjoy about a game. However, if you've played Elex 1, then you already know most of the factions that are available in the game and can probably make a decision before you even start playing the game about which one you would prefer to join. You also probably know where the faction you're looking for is actually located. Whereas if you're coming into this game fresh, you might be in a situation where you have to visit all the different factions and find out what they're like before you could decide which one you actually want to join, which of course is going to delay how long it takes until you join a faction. So if that is your situation, I definitely recommend that you make visiting all the different factions a priority, because the quicker you join one, the quicker you're going to get better gear and you'll be in a better place to go ahead and get involved in combat. Next on the list, I highly recommend you use the map markers, and the game doesn't really point them out. So I think if you're just jumping into this, you don't realize how cool these things are. But when you pull up this map marker menu, it actually gives you a bunch of different markers that you can use. And you could put down a marker like, let's say, I have a safe here that I can't open right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a treasure chest here so that I know this is an area I wanna come back to. Now, if I exit out of the map, I do not see that marker anywhere on my mini map in the upper right. If I want to actually see it, I can go into the map and then highlight it, which will then let me know where this marker is and how far I have to go in order to reach it. This is a fantastic system because it allows you to mark things that you're not able to do yet, but at the same time, those markers will not distract you while you're playing the game. You only need to highlight it once you're actually ready to do whatever it is that you've marked. So whether it's chests that you're not able to lockpick yet, or safes that you can't hack yet, or maybe higher level bosses that you just don't feel comfortable going up against yet, you can mark them all, and then when you're ready, circle back to them. I think this is just an absolutely great system that it would definitely behoove you to go ahead and make use of. And also note, you can put down multiple versions of the same marker. So if you come across 4 safes that you can't hack, you can put a treasure chest marker on each one of them and circle back to them whenever you get ready. Great, great stuff. Next up, I'm going to highly recommend that you do not ignore the jetpack. You're going to get one early in the game, but in what I believe is a change from Elex 1, you're actually able to upgrade your jetpack. And this is something that it's easy to ignore and completely forget that you're able to do. But if you take the time to get the fuel tanks and then upgrade how long you're able to fly using that jetpack, it makes a big difference in the game. From the standpoint of how long you can hover in combat and then shoot down at enemies, to how long you're able to fly around in the world, allowing you to get to landmarks much, much quicker. So I would definitely recommend, obviously you should be picking up the fuel tanks whenever you walk across them, but you will also come across them in stores. Anytime you see them, I would definitely recommend you go ahead and pick them up and get them installed. Over time, it's going to make a really big difference in your playthrough, and you definitely will not regret it. There is one caveat to this, however. This issue may be fixed with a day 1 patch or some of the other patches that I assume will come out for this game over time. But from my playthrough with the game, there are definitely times where the game froze up while I was hovering with my jetpack and when there were a lot of enemies down on the ground. So if you find that you're in a fight and the game freezes back to back while you're in it and you've been using the jetpack a lot, I would recommend that you go ahead and try to do that fight on the ground strictly. And I found usually that allows the game to get through the fight without any issues. Again, this problem might actually be resolved by the time the game is in your hands, but just felt like it was worth noting. Next up, I would recommend that after you get a couple of the combat related talents out of the way, that you definitely try to pick up the talents that prioritize experience points and money. And the reason for this is there are some parts of the game that are gate locked specifically according to what your level is. And also, everything in this game that you want to do probably requires money in order for you to be able to do it, whether it's buying new armor or new weapons, or even leveling yourself up as far as talent points will also require money as well. So the more money you have, the easier this game is going to be for you. So I would definitely recommend you do not just skip over those. Go ahead and pick them up. It's going to make your playthrough much easier. And finally on the list, I would recommend you prioritize companion quest. And the reason for this is each companion has probably around 8 to 10 quests that they are going to ask you to do. And a certain amount of time has to pass before they will give you each quest. So let's say you waited until late in the game and then did the quest for a party member whose loyalty for you was already very high. Once you finish their quest, they're not going to automatically give you the next quest on the list. a certain amount of time has to pass first, and then they'll come up to you and say, hey, I'm ready to do the next part. And so I think it definitely makes sense to go ahead and prioritize those throughout the game. So you'll just keep doing them as the game goes on. And hopefully by the time you reach the end game, you'll also be reaching the final level for all the companion quests that you still need to clean up. And that is the full list of tips. Hopefully, I provided some information here that you found valuable that you wouldn't have thought of on your own. Let me know down the comments if there's any other specific videos regarding Elex that you would really like to see, or some aspect of the game that you would like to have explained. And please, if you enjoyed this video, leave me a like down below, share this content, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I will see you all in the next video. Take care.